Hello, We family. Welcome again to our monthly program. And this is called In the Zone. And we have again here, once again, the man himself, our grand upline, our founder, our mentor, Dato Sri Vijay Ishwaran. Dato Sri, we're going to be talking about a topic that is in the mind of every networker. We all have this question. How do we build momentum in our organization? And how do we keep it up at the top?
First of all, to all the We family, may it be a great year ending. So let's give this a real kickstart. How do we build momentum? In actual fact, you see, monkey see, monkey do, right? So momentum is not really built by the bottom of the pyramid, bottom of the line, bottom of the structure. It's not the downlines, it's always what trickles down. So momentum, the minute it happens within you, it starts to go out in concentric circles and it just builds as it goes down. It's just like a stream becoming a waterfall. So it's first, a rivulet, which is one tiny little, string of water that becomes a little stream, that becomes a little, a bigger waterfall, eventually mighty river. So the momentum has to start from within. So what you are, so you become. Be the momentum you want to see. Target, within yourself. When you talk momentum, don't look at the network, don't look at your downlines, don't look at the products, don't look at the plan. With the worst possible plan, product, with the worst possible combination of downlines you can have. I mean, I've seen, major networks being built on the backs of what I would consider to be a ragtag team of, leaders. Are you with me? Yes. And it's amazing. Tobeng, for instance, a classic case in point. My brother, Pak Tobeng, selamat siang. So I would say to you, Tobeng is a classic case in point. Now, how would you be able to reconcile a Tobeng, with the success that he has achieved? His momentum is entirely within him. His drive, his momentum comes from his days when he stood by the marketplace selling coffee and making $1 a day. To the man today that drives a Ferrari or a Bentley or what have you. So the issue is, success, or for that matter momentum of any kind, is an internal process. So if someone says, I need a better plan for momentum, I need better products for momentum, I need better discounts for momentum, give me a promotion for momentum, I say to them, balderdash, which means garbage, all right, which means, total rubbish. Don't pay attention to anything of that nature, because the reality is momentum is built on nothing else but willpower. Momentum is built on you stepping up on stage in front of the crowd, in front of 2, 3, 5, 30, 1,000, 20,000 people and saying to them, let's do this now. And that's it. The energy is the momentum. Momentum is built upon incredible things. I mean, for instance, I've been, associated with so many different products and so many different companies in the past, even long before we began this. Japa, for instance, was with one particular company that was selling mattresses. But mattresses at what? $10,000 a pop, $20,000 a pop. I mean, this is in countries like Indonesia and the Philippines. We are nowhere near anything like that. And still those companies achieved momentum. So what is it then that is an obstacle to momentum? Nothing. There is only you. Everything else becomes possible. Momentum is actually, the magic of momentum starts with the simple word, I am possible.
I am possible.
I am possible. You put it together, it's the word impossible.
Yes.
But when you say, I am possible, impossible becomes transparent, a kind of a little veil that drops away.
So that means maintaining the momentum also now, that answers my question back, goes back to me again on what I do on a daily basis.
It's a sense of urgency.
Sense of urgency.
Step up before Tobing or his brothers anytime. Have you ever seen the Indonesian crowd? You don't need to understand the language. I'm telling you. I've seen, people come down and watch the Indonesians. It's a regimentation. It's powerful to watch them, because at the end of the day, what drives them is real hunger. What drives them is they need the success more than anything else. They will push for it. They will struggle for it. They will fight for it. They will scramble, with their nails for it. Are you with me or not? Now, once you have that, momentum happens. Momentum catches, it's viral. But you see, it's just like, I can't for the life of me, if I went down to social media, for instance, I sit down with my, social media people occasionally and pick up a viral video. Are you with me?
Yes.
The more famous ones is like Kolaveri. Give me a break. I mean, there's nothing vaguely, melodious about Kolaveri. It's just a few catchy phrases thrown together. This is not A.R. Rahman at work. It's not, magic at work. I don't get it. It's not even as good as Gangnam, Gangnam was another one. But Gangnam or Kolaveri or what have you, all of these, are basically viral because of the energy behind the product. Look at the guy in the Gangnam video.
Nothing.
But the energy of the guy, that translates. All right? And if you look at Kolaveri, it's the energy that translates. Dhanush, the singer, carried that energy forward. So this is really what makes something into a number one. How do you describe a number one? Even the top record companies really cannot catch what is a number one or not. They're taking a risk half the time. And when something becomes number one, a big hit, people still don't get why it happened. Are you with me or not? It still boils down to that single issue, energy. So if you ask me about sense of urgency, because the sense of urgency drives your momentum. And the sense of urgency is high in all of these people.
Okay.
Find your purpose and you will have your momentum.
And I think this also happens to many organizations, and has happened to me also. We come to a point that we pick up the momentum, it's at the top, and then it just drops and we lose the momentum. So what do you think we are doing wrong that we suddenly just lose the momentum when we are actually having the momentum? So how could we avoid that? That is really.
If you ever been cycling to school, you see, momentum happens when you're just over the top of the hill and you're coming down.
All right.
All right, then your cycle is just flying. Climbing up every hill takes an effort, but the higher the hill, the better the momentum. Every hill at some point or another has a down, okay? So when you're coming down, you will have your momentum. But you have to climb the hill, then you're really struggling. And it is incredibly painful. The steeper the hill, the longer the climb, then your calves really start to feel the pain, you know what I mean? And you're saying, oh, I feel like getting down and pushing the bike, I want to stop. But if you can see the top approaching, you just push and push and push, because at some point it just goes down. Are you with me? But the trouble is, and this is unfortunately sad, because in life, 90% of us give up very near the top. I always repeat the story, and it's a good story to repeat, but it's a factual one. I think about a decade ago, the Nepalese government, with the help of the UN and all that, started to clear up, the garbage that's littered the whole of Mount Everest for a long time. They brought down 3 tons of garbage by helicopter from all the way up to the top. So when the weather was good enough, they could do this kind of, clearance. They found some very interesting facts, that a lot of people had, when they give up and they leave their final tent, because they go up there, they don't want to carry everything down again, and so they leave the final tent, okay? So about 80 to 90% of the people who had given up And this is garbage going all the way back to 1900, 1910, or whenever the early expeditions going up. So the last 70 or 80 years of garbage they picked up, again 80% of the people almost reached the top. They were 10% from the top. But with the clouds and the turbulent weather and the snow and driven rain and all of that, you can't see. You have no idea how close you are to the top. And having gone 90%, if they were even slightly aware that, hey, it's only 10% left, they would have struggled. They would have kept on going. They would have never given up. But because they cannot see, therein lies the challenge. They give up. They cannot see, and then they worry about coming down. Because they're so exhausted, so weary, so, completely drained of everything, they're thinking, how can I make my way down? Are you with me? So they're already thinking, okay, I'm so tired now, I might as well go down. But if they were 10% from the top, and they make it to the top, they would have the energy to come down. So now, the reality is, because we have better GPS, better equipment, navigation, etc., so on and so forth, by satellite, we can actually pinpoint where we are on the mountain as we are climbing. So we're getting, people who are making it all the way to Mount Everest in bigger and bigger numbers. But in the early days, all that prevented it was the blindness. So let's talk about, your leaders and the challenges you face. It's the blindness. It's simply because you have still no idea how far you have to go to the top. So the momentum is easier to give up. But are you really giving up on, the company or the plan, or are you giving up on, what are you giving up on? You're giving up on yourself. And herein lies the biggest, paradox. You see, ultimately, failure is about no one else but yourself. So, where is there any space to give up? If the people who give up had a back door from day one, because that back door exists, they open it. The difference is, like say, when I and Japa and the others who started this company, and you were there, Kalai, you saw us in the early days, you looked into our eyes. Was there any concept, even the glimmer, that we would give up? The only way we would give up is we burn, crash and fail. Then we start again. But there's no concept of giving up. Are you with me? Just recently I heard Elon Musk, an entrepreneur that I am particularly fond of. I mean, this guy has made his billions many times over. He just spent the last few nights, continuously, in fact, last few weeks, sleeping in his factory because he's waiting to push through this final product that he's working on. Does he need to do that? Therein lies the secret of success. If you are willing to sleep in the factory, meaning you're not willing to leave your workplace, is there a back door? So the concept of a back door must be eradicated. When there is no back door, people will go on until they make it. And if they break it instead of making it, that's fine too, because the process will continue. You have to start all over again, so be it. But there's no concept of going back. Are you with me? It's like even any relationship. Take marriage, for example. The minute you have a prenuptial, the back door is already written there. You get my point? It's like saying, hey, in case we fail. Why even talk of in case we fail? Are you with me? There's no such thing. Are you with me? So, the same concept works in relationships and works in success. If you want success in relationships, throw away the back door. Let there be no back doors. The same thing applies to, unfortunately, to momentum.
Understand that is right. Thank you. I think for the benefit of the network, one more question, Dato Sri.
Sure.
Now that is internal. You talked about me maintaining the momentum. What about how do we sustain from this, protect ourselves from the external factors? Like now we're coming towards Christmas, the holidays, the seasons. So now we have, how do we protect our network during this festive seasons and high external factors?
The first thing that you must learn is to love what you do. The minute it becomes work, then it is affected by everything. Season, temperature, climate, other issues, external issues, everything affects it because it's work. So the same thing applies to my employees when I talk to them. I say to them, you are spending more time here than you're spending in any other place, including your home. You work 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week. So take all your working hours, your waking hours, and you carve out your 40 hours. You are spending more time at work than anywhere else. So if you make this a torture, if you make it work, it becomes a prison. You're waiting for 5 o'clock to run out the door. Are you with me? Yeah. But if you love what you do, time becomes irrelevant. Are you with me? And that is the real key to success and the real key to happiness. If you love what you do, if you love your work, then it doesn't become work anymore. If you love what you do, you never have to work a single day in your life. So same thing applies to the network. You see, if you take all these elements, Christmas, this, that, the other, so on and so forth, the trick is, do they love what they do? Are you with me or not?
Yes.
See, the easiest example is to consider this is your child. Your business, your network, this is your child. And you have to love your child. If your child was sick over Christmas, will you be celebrating? No chance. You will be right next to your child, you will be in the hospital if necessary. You give up all of those things. Would you leave her and go to a party? No. It's not an option, right?
Yes.
Okay. Understand this. It is a prison if you choose it. It is paradise if you choose it. The only difference lies in your mind. All of the external factors don't really matter. The only thing that matters really is only this, because this is the legacy you leave behind. This proves that you have lived a life worth living. This will break all the chains that tie you down. There's no greater return, but it requires you to fall in love with it. Make sense?
Makes sense, Dr. Sri. Thank you so much, Dr. Sri.
Thank you.
Thank you.